In this video, I'm going to explain how to remove a rotor from a front hub on a Corvette 65 to 82. It also applies to the rotors on trailing arms that are still riveted to the spindles in the rear, but I'm showing you how to do the front. The rotors that we sell, are the standard exact copy to GM print rotors with the rivet holes. We also make a slotted and drilled directional rotor, and then the same rotor, slotted and drilled directional, but decrement plated. It's a super sweet rotor. So I'm going to show you how to remove these rivets. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do to remove the hub that's still riveted to the rotor is we're going to take the new rotor and we're going to set it right over the lugs like that. Then we're going to take a couple of the lug nuts that you have on your car, and you're going to do this just you're going to tighten it down just a little bit. That way it centers the rotor, because the bottom is tapered, so it's going to help center the rotor in the exact same spot. It's going to line up the rivet holes. All our rotors are made to GM specs, so the rivet holes are dead nuts perfect, exact. So we're going to take that new rotor, put it down like that. Just to snug it up. Okay. Then we're going to take an 11/32 center punch. It's got the point on there. You can get them at Harbor Freight. Maybe you have one. Maybe you can make your own. And then we're going to drop it down in each rivet hole. Drop it down a rivet hole, center punch it. Drop it down a rivet hole, center punch it. Each one, you're going to mark that rivet. The problem is that the hole is so big where the rivet goes and the head is not always centered in the hole. So if you don't have the rivet centered, it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder to remove the rivet head. Okay, so now lift the rotor up, and you are center punched perfect in the center of every hole. And as you can see, the rivet head is not centered. So you'd say, oh, I'm going to make a center punch mark in the middle of the rivet head, but it's not. The rivet head is off to one side. You can see the gap here and how tight it is there, but the center in reality is the center of this hole here. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to drill the heads off. Okay, so if you're lucky enough to have a milling machine to do this, you can use a drill press, or you can even use a battery operated DeWalt. It doesn't matter. You got to have patience. Don't go too fast. Have a little bit of lubrication, like some cutting oil or even regular oil will work. You don't want the drill bit to get too hot. I start out with a 21/64 drill bit. That's to go down about a 1/4 of an inch. That's smaller than the diameter of the rivet hole. Then after I go down about a 1/4 of an inch to get past the head, I step up to a 7/16 drill bit to knock the head off. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit of oil, just drop it on the center punch mark I made. And then I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to go down about a 1/4 of an inch. And hit each one. The drill bit's going to find that center punch mark that you made. As long as you made it, nice and deep, it's going to find it. Okay, so you can check them again. Look at each one. Okay, so that's the 2164 or smaller drill bit. Take that out. I'm going to step up to 7/16, which is larger than the rivet hole. Okay, you're going to knock that head off. You're going to take a little bit of oil and you're going to hit each one. That's it, that rivet head's gone. They're gonna pop right off. Another one. Another one. Really easy. It looks like it's gonna be a difficult job, but it's very easy. Okay. How long did that take? Didn't take long at all. And it's not that hard if you even use a battery powered drill. You just got to go slow, don't go fast, and make sure you keep it lubricated. Okay, so the next step is to knock it loose, and there's two options I'll show you. Okay, one thing I didn't mention, if you noticed, the camera like wiggled a little bit. My camera guy got a little hot shaving on his arm, so make sure you wear safety glasses. Just be careful. Okay, there's two ways to finish this job. One is to just go ahead and knock the hub out and leave the rotor tails sticking up out of the hub face. So if you were just to go ahead and put your lugs on there, you know, put a couple lugs on, go all the way around if you want, and get a hammer, you know, bring it down a little bit further so you don't damage the lug or the stud. If you were to hit it here like that and go all the way around, you could knock the hub loose, and then the rivet tails are going to be sticking up a little bit. You can leave it like that, it's fine. It's a little ugly. And then the new rotor will accommodate those tails sticking up. In other words, you just slide this over that hub right there and the tails will be coming up, but we're going to go all the way. So to go all the way, you want to put a couple lugs on, and we're going to knock the tails out. This is more work, but we're going to do it all the way. And the reason we're putting the lugs on is because we don't want the hub to move when we're knocking the tails, the rivet tails out. You don't have to use a wrench. You can if you want, doesn't matter. So now that we got the nuts on there, we're going to take a punch like this. Make sure you wear safety glasses. And you take a hammer. I prefer a little bit heavier one so you get more of a blow. But then you just stick it right on top of the rivet tail. Then you're going to drive it out and don't hit your hand. Make sure you wear safety glasses. That's one. Two. Might be easier if you do it on the floor because the table's giving you a little bit of resistance. And that's my main problem, because I'm shooting this video on a table and it's a lot better on the floor. Okay, so now all the rivets are knocked out. Then you can go ahead and raise the nuts. And then we're going to bring it all the way up to about here. We're not changing the studs, so we don't want to damage anything. And just knock it. That's it. Take off your lugs. You didn't damage the lugs. You didn't damage any threads. You know, our rotors, whether it's the stock version, the slotted and drilled, and then the slotted and drilled and plated, they all have the same measurements. So there's the old rotor. And you take your new rotor. Here's the old tails. And then the hub fits perfectly in. It's clean. The hub's clean. It's not all beat on like an animal, or the old Samsonite commercials when the gorillas used to beat the suitcases up. So you just take it, slide it on. If you want to change your bearings or clean it up, that's up to you, but you're ready to go. So you put the hub on the car, tighten up the nut, put the bearing cap on there, the grease cap, you're done. And then you slide the rotor on the car, just like an import car, and then put the brake caliper on. Then when you put the wheel on and the lugs, that holds the rotor in place. And that's all you do. It's very easy. Oh, if you need hubs, we sell rebuilt original units too. You can find them on our website. Thanks for watching.